Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're already subscribed to my channel, then you know me as Sister Philly. However, I recently decided to change my YouTube name to my name, which is Sonia Nicole. I just figured if my channel does ever go anywhere, then I would just like for it to be like under my real name. So anyway, if you're new here, welcome. If you are already subscribed, welcome back. For those of you who are already subscribed to me, you haven't seen me in quite some time. I'm filming this video like in late April, and I haven't uploaded a video since November of last year, so it's been quite some time for me. For today's video, I just wanted to talk to y'all about where I've been, what I've been going through. I've been having some really tough family issues, and I do unfortunately have some sad news to share with you all. And I also want to just talk about some of the changes that I want to incorporate in my channel going forward, and just catch up with y'all. So let me jump right into my story. Okay, so I feel like it was back in the summer of last year, maybe like June or July of 2019, I posted a video about why I thought my upload schedule was going to end up being very sporadic. So if you haven't seen that video, because this story is going to kind of pick up where that story left off. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link it for you. I don't even remember what side of the screen the cards get linked to because it's been so long since I filmed. I think it's up here, but anyway, I'm gonna link it up here so you can watch it. So you should watch that video first and then come back to this one, because like I said, I'm gonna kind of pick up from that story. So the reason I stopped filming back in November, I remember I did do like a birthday get ready with me. My birthday's in October, and then I did a BoxyCharm video for November, and that was my last one. Both of my parents got really sick around that time. They were sick for most of 2019, and they kind of got sick like months apart from each other. And around October, November, both of them started getting sicker. My stepfather, he suffered from a stroke that he had in late 2018. And then my mother has some really bad lung issues that she was diagnosed with in spring of 2019. So going back to like November of 2019, my stepfather was just kind of taking like a slow turn for the worse. And unfortunately, my mother was also kind of getting sicker at that time too. So we found out in December, it was like early December, that my stepdad was going to need dialysis, and without it, he would not survive. Because of the stroke, his I guess his cognizance was kind of like in and out for most of 2019, but he would have bouts of confusion here and there, but for the most part he did remain cognizant. He was able to decide for himself that he did not want to do dialysis, which of course we didn't like the fact that he was going to need it, but we were happy about him being able to make that decision for himself, because it was really important to my mom. So we knew that that was going to come eventually, and that since he wasn't going to go on to dialysis, that he would eventually have to be transferred to hospice. So at the time, we thought that hospice would come maybe like 3 months down the road, but it came a little faster than we anticipated. So he did go into hospice in January, and he passed away on January 16th of 2020. So needless to say, we were dealing with what you would expect someone to deal with who's just lost a father, a husband. My grandmother lost her son, so on and so forth. And it just so happened that right around that same time, like I said, my mother was getting sick too. She was getting sicker. She was on a medication that was giving her some very bad side effects, and I'm not going to go into all of the details, but I'll just say that I remember, as of like the day that my stepdad passed, my mother, she couldn't really eat. She couldn't really keep anything down, and she was losing a lot of weight. And she was down to less than 90 pounds when my stepdad passed away. So even though like we knew that he was transitioning and he was going to pass like any day now. Our immediate concern was actually my mother, and I was like freaking out every single day because I didn't know what was gonna happen in terms of like making arrangements, because my mom was so sick and so weak. I thought that she was gonna be in the hospital while my sister and I were gonna have to make arrangements for my stepdad. I didn't know if we were gonna be able to have a service for him, because I definitely didn't want to do that without my mom being there, and I thought that we were going to have to hold things off until hopefully she bounced back. Thankfully, maybe 2 days or so before my stepdad passed, my mother had a doctor's appointment, just a follow-up appointment with seeing how the doctor, or seeing for the doctor to see how she was responding to the medication. So the doctor said, yeah, you need to like come off of this medicine like ASAP, which she did. And thankfully, so she stopped taking that medicine like a couple of days before he passed. So I would say like from the time that he passed through the day of the funeral, which was like 1 week apart from each other, she had immediately started like to bounce back a little bit because that medicine was out of her system. She was eating more, and she just had a little bit more energy. I was very concerned about like, even if she wasn't in the hospital, like how was she gonna have the energy to deal with everything that just comes along with having someone pass, like all the phone calls, the visits to the house, just making arrangements. I didn't think that she was going to be up for all of that. But I would say the day of the funeral, my mom probably was weighing in at like maybe 92, 93 pounds, so still a lot lower than where she was supposed to be. But she was, like I said, she was bouncing back because that medicine was out of her system. So unfortunately, when she was on the medication, it did improve her lung function. And I say unfortunately because since she had to come off of that medication, the lung function doesn't seem to be as good as it was when she was on the medicine. So it was helping her lungs, but her body just couldn't take it. So she's on another medication, and unfortunately because of coronavirus, well, I guess fortunately, in some ways it could be fortunate. It depends on how you look at it. But my point is, because of coronavirus, she's not able to go to the doctor. The doctor, she has been having phone calls with her doctor, but they don't consider her at in any type of like immediate danger or anything like that. So they just don't want her going to the hospital and risking getting coronavirus. So she's been having phone calls with the doctor. I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I don't remember what I was trying to say. So when she was on that medicine, there was some improvement with her lung function with being on that medicine, but unfortunately the rest of her body just couldn't take it, so she had to come off. The new medicine that she's on, it doesn't seem like it's quite as effective as the other medication, but generally speaking, my mom is doing much better than she was like back when my stepdad passed away. She still has, days that are not quite as good as other days, but she, in general, she's doing okay. She has like a constant cough. She is very weak on some days, like she just sits in her chair or lays in her bed all day, but she's still able to, for the most part, do for herself, feed herself, bathe herself, all of that. However, I have decided to move in with my mom, which is why my background is different from all of my other videos. I moved in here right around when things like just started happening with coronavirus, and like I said, for the most part she's doing okay, but my sister and I just feel more comfortable with us being here. So now it's me, my mom, my sister, and her 2 kids, all living under one roof. And I'm filming in my bedroom now, which is why, like I said, my background is different. I feel like I'm kind of like jumping all over the place because I'm trying not to get emotional, but I may be skipping like some parts of the story, but the gist of it is like that's what the main reason why I haven't been on YouTube in the past few months, because I was just dealing with everything that was going on with my parents. So like I said, my stepfather has transitioned. He did go peacefully, and the day that he passed, we saw him. It was like a few hours before he passed. They called us and said, you know, we think that he only has like a few hours left. So we ran up there and we tried our best to stay as long as we could so that we could be there when he transitioned. But my mother and my grandmother were there. They just couldn't hold out any longer. Like they both really needed to like lay down and get some sleep. And then later that night, my sister and I decided to go back up there. That day was crazy because it was like walking on eggshells all day, just like waiting to get a phone call. My sister and I went up there later that night. It was like maybe 9 o'clock at night. And the nurses told us that he probably passed like a good 5 or 10 minutes before we got there, which when I look back on that now, I feel like maybe that was for the best that we weren't actually there, you know, when it happened. But anyway, he has passed on. This is my first time dealing with the loss of an immediate family member, so I don't know why I thought I knew how the grieving process was gonna go, but I always thought that when I got that phone call letting me know that he was gone, I always thought that I was just gonna lose it when I found out, and then that didn't happen. When we went back, you know, when he passed, and we were going to see his body, I thought that I was going to lose it then. That didn't happen. I thought I was going to just break down when we went to the funeral home to view his body the night before the funeral. Didn't happen either. At the funeral, I cried, but I never like broke down until it was like after, I guess like after the dust settled, because from the day that he passed through the day of the burial, I don't know, we were just so busy. We just didn't have time to comprehend that he died. Like we were having like people at the house all the time, you know, phones ringing off the hook. Even today, like we're talking 3 months later, I still have people just randomly calling and texting me, just checking in on my family and me. But you know, when he first passed, there was just so much happening that it wasn't until maybe like that week after the service that we had time to just like sit back and just realize like what all just happened, you know? He had a military burial, and sometimes when you have a military burial, they can't accommodate you on the same day as your funeral. So we had to have the funeral on a Thursday, the burial on a Friday, and then I went back to work that following Monday, and that was a huge mistake because I was just like, I was all over the place. I was all over the place. And I'm filming that. What is today's date? Today is April 26th that I'm filming this. His birthday was April 23rd. And someone reminded me maybe a couple weeks after he passed that you know, the very first time you go through all of those relevant dates without your loved one, that's really hard to do. So his birthday was really hard for us. Mother's Day, Father's Day, like all of that, we're gonna have to, you know, go through that process. But I don't know, like for some reason I thought that because the funeral is when you do like your final goodbye, I just thought that that was going to be when I would be the most emotional. But like I said, it was like it didn't even hit me until after the funeral took place. So I'm sorry if I was kind of like jumping all over the place with that story, but that's basically why I have not been on YouTube over the past few months. And then another like minor issue that I'm having, but this is minor compared to everything that I just talked about. Dealing with everything with coronavirus. I have been working from home for the past like month and a half, which, you know, of course, I'm ready for all of this to be over, just like all of you all are. However, working from home and now living in the same house as my mother, that affords me the opportunity to be here all day, every day with my mom, which I'm thankful for, because my sister is still going to work on most days, and most days she's working like a second or third shift. So again, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, what I was saying was another minor issue that I'm having with filming is that where I would normally like sit to film and do my makeup, that has become my workspace for work, because I've actually been pretty busy working from home since coronavirus started. So at my old apartment, I had a lot more space. It was just me. I had a storage closet, and it was a pretty nice sized closet, and I was able to transform that closet into my filming space. So I would just go in, I already had everything set up, and I could just sit down and start filming. Whereas here I have to, I don't have to move my camera or my lights or anything, but I have to like transition my table. So I just did my makeup before filming this. So right now I have like makeup all over my table, but when I'm done, I'm gonna have to take all of this down and then put my laptop and my work stuff back on this table, because I have to work tomorrow. So that's another thing. I'm just not used to having to like break down and set up, you know, like my filming space. But like I said, that's a minor issue that I can get over. So yeah, I feel like that's it for my story about where I've been. So going forward, like I said earlier, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I also want to like incorporate just some few changes into my channel. So I did decide to change my channel name. I've changed it here and on Instagram. I also changed my name on Twitter, but I don't really do Twitter like that. But I'll put my Instagram handle on the screen somewhere just so y'all will have it. But I feel like I definitely want to still do makeup videos because I do like doing them. This is actually the first time that I've worn a full face of makeup in a very long time. So I have done a full face of makeup, you know, since November, since the last time I filmed. I feel like it's been like a good 3 months or something like that. But I do still like buying makeup. I have cut back on the amount of makeup that I usually buy. Like, I'm not even an Ulta Platinum member anymore, which is crazy to me because I haven't spent enough in 2019 to hit that status. But I do still like buying makeup. I still like trying stuff out. I still like doing different looks and doing tutorials and stuff like that. But I think I also want to incorporate some sort of like motivation into my channel. So I don't know if any of you have ever bothered to look at my YouTube channel banner, but it used to say Sister Philly. I think it said teaching, learning, sharing all things makeup. So I've changed that to say Sonia Nicole, which is my new channel name, and then under that it says makeup and motivation, because I feel like it's on my spirit to you know, sometimes just sit and have conversations with y'all, talk to y'all about whatever, just motivating each other, not just me motivating you, but me getting motivation from you. Talk to you about, you know, different things that I may be struggling with. Also talk to you about areas in which I've grown, or which I think I've grown as an individual, just so that we can, like, you know, help each other out. One of the videos that I really do want to film, but I'm kind of scared to talk about it. I feel like my faith was really tested when my stepdad passed, and I know some of us here may have different walks of faith, but I feel like in general we all go through that same type of grieving process when we lose a loved one. And I feel like it's on my spirit to talk that out, because it'll help me, but it may also help someone else out there. So yeah, I feel like some of my videos going forward, I'm still not going to commit myself to a filming or upload schedule because I just can't do that right now. But I will be filming, you know, and uploading more going forward than I've been over the past few months. But I feel like not all of my videos are going to be makeup related. I may not even film all of my videos here in this space, like especially when the weather breaks. You know, not to be a pessimist, but I have a feeling that we're gonna pretty much be kind of like in the house, social distancing through the summer. So, you know, I won't be going anywhere all like that, but you know, maybe filming some videos like just sitting outside in the backyard or things like that. But so yeah, I feel like going forward, I want my channel to be a mix of like makeup and motivation. So let me know how you feel about that in the comments, because I know some of you have come to my channel off of the strength of a makeup video. So let me know how you feel about that. I feel like that's all I have to share. I'm just jumping around like crazy because I am holding back tears right now. But, you know, generally speaking, that's where I've been. Some of you have reached out to me during my hiatus just to say, hey, I hope all is well, miss your content and all of that. And I really, really appreciate that. I've even gained like just a few, but I've gained a few subscribers while I was away from YouTube. So I definitely appreciate that. So I feel like I know I said this a couple times before, but I feel like I'm at the end of the video now. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening to my story. You know, if anyone is dealing with a similar situation, I know a lot of us unfortunately are dealing with losses right now. Some of us are dealing with having people in hospitals that we can't even see, you know, any of that. I hope that, you know, maybe some of what I said today has helped in some way. I'm not sure. And like I said, I know that we may have different walks of faith, but I just encourage everyone to pray for one another, pray for the world, and just pray that we'll get past all of this. So anyway, thank y'all for listening to me today, and I hope to see you back for my next video. Until then, take care. Have a good one. Bye.